Hi guys, welcome back to Modifix. My name is Dan and today we are fixing. So today we are going to check the timing on the 300ZX, and that's why you can hear it running in the background. What you want to do first of all is run the vehicle up to temperature. This could take up to 20 minutes depending on how cold it is where you are. I've just run mine up for 15 minutes and it seems that it's up to temperature now. So I'm going to switch it off and show you what to do next. So there's two ways you can check the timing on this vehicle. One is you can use the PTU loop here and connect your inductive pickup on there, or you can pull out this coil pack number 1, and put a ignition lead bridged to your coil pack on the actual plug and then hook onto that with your pickup. I'm going to show you both ways because I want to see what the big deal is about, and I checked it yesterday and it seemed okay even with the loop pickup, but people insist that you should put a lead on there and do it that way. So let me show you your options. So this car should be set up to 15 degrees before top dead center, and if you look down there, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? I've marked everything with white marks. There we go. You should be able to see the middle one is 20. So we want to be one notch, I think it's 6 points across from that to the right. So that's where we want to be. And if, as you can see on the crank pulley, I've actually marked that white as well, so you can see very clearly. So let's hook everything up. I'll show you how and then check it. So, don't know if you can see, but my car is running probably 40 degrees advanced at the moment, which is totally wrong. I am using the pickup lead off the PTU there and it works okay. So now I'm going to connect up the ignition lead and check with that and see if there's any difference. So what you got to do is you got to buzz out your number 1 coil pack, leave it plugged in. My plug's quite long so I don't have to worry about taking it off. And then what you want to do is build a bridge from there to there using a coil lead, not coil lead, a HT lead now, or an ignition lead, whatever you want to call it. So you can buy these readily available from Amazon and what have you for about £8, I think. I can't remember. I'll link it down below if you're interested. This side goes straight in the hole, and then you can use this side in your coil pack. Now, in my opinion, that's a sloppy fit in there and I don't like it, and that lead is just a little bit too short, so it's a bit awkward getting your pickup hooked around that. So on that note, I have made, you might have seen in the background already, my own version of that. So I had a set of these spark plug testers sitting around, and I bought a set of leads especially for this job, got them quite cheap actually. And then what I've done is, I think it was a 6mm drill bit, fit in there perfectly. I've got 2 female ends, right? So it fit in there perfectly and in there perfectly. So I cut the drilly bit off it, hooked the 2 together, and then just put some tape around for good measure so that there's no arcing anywhere. And that's my little made up thing. Now this here needs to go on the spark plug firmly, and then the other end on the coil pack. So let me do that and I'll get back to you. It is kind of tricky getting the ignition lead on regardless, so try and get the ones that fit a deep hole if you can, and keep something like this to hand, something plastic ideally, where you're not going to damage the lead shoving it in the hole and onto the plug. And then the other side, as you can see, is in there nicely and it's nice and solid. There's no side to side play. So that's now ready. I'm just going to hook my lead on and let's get cracking. So this is the first time I'm actually using this lead that I made up, and I just wanted to make sure it was working right before I actually stick the timing light on it. So now what I'll do is I'll stick the timing light probe on there and I'll show you what to do next. So I've got the hookup lead on the actual ignition lead now, and I'm not sure if you can see, but we're running at about 20 degrees so we want to back that off a little bit to 15. Okay, so that's very interesting. I've just gone back to the PTU lead, pickup should I say, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's showing, you see it? It's showing way advanced. It's showing like 30 degrees before top dead center, which is a bit worrying. But I don't know whether to trust that or whether I should go with the lead. Most people say go with the lead, so I'm going to do that. Alright, what you want to do next is slack off that bolt, that one there, and there's one underneath that is very difficult to see. Let me see if the phone can see it. I can't see it with my bare eyes. Should be able to see it now. It's down there somewhere. So you want to slack off those 3 bolts just so enough so that you can rotate this. It doesn't have to be really like sort of loose, just needs to be loose enough so you can rotate that. And then what you want to do is switch the engine back on and rotate it backwards or forwards until you see your 15 degrees before top dead center. Alright guys, once you've got your timing where you want it, so not sure if you can see that, but it is running. Once you've got your timing where you want it, then tighten the top bolt first and then switch the engine off and tighten the bottom 2 bolts as well. Just make sure that your timing hasn't moved after you tighten the bolts up, so just double check it after you've done that, yeah? Alright guys, and with that the timing is all set up. That's all been tightened up now and it's all done to 15 degrees exactly once the engine's warmed up fully. A couple of tips: make sure that you do this on a warm day if you can, because for some reason the car decides every time you switch it off and switch it back on again to warm up, and it goes into some crazy cycle with advanced timing. So look out for that and try and avoid it if you can. I know these things aren't avoidable sometimes. The other thing was, oh, I just wanted to say this thing here is called a crank angle sensor. So now that I've timed it up, I've just marked it so that if it does move then I know, but it shouldn't move anyway, so that's good. But anyway, that's called a CAS, or a crank angle sensor, or cam angle sensor really, but it does influence the crank. When you're using your timing light, you should have an arrow on it which points towards a plug, so just be mindful of that. All timing lights are different, so I'm not gonna be specific about mine, but it'll have a picture of a plug and it will have an arrow that points to the plug. If you have that on the wrong way around, then it won't work. So just make sure that whatever way the arrow is pointing, it's got to be pointing, so the plug's that way. If the arrow is pointing that way, then have it pointing that way. If you use that loop, which I wouldn't advise based on what I've seen, you do it at your own risk, because that reads about 20 degrees further advanced than it should be, or at least 10 anyway. Your car will just run really retarded if you use that, I think. I don't know, it might be different on yours. Try it if you want. And lastly, just make sure you tighten everything up and put it all back together how you found it. I just want to say that with the timing light, if you connect it the wrong way around, it just won't flash. Once you connect it to the battery, it doesn't start flashing until it picks up a pulse. So you need to make sure that your hookup lead is connected the correct way, and if it's not, it just won't work. So anyway, that concludes this video. Alright guys, I hope I was able to help you with your timing and get it sorted out. If you enjoy the video, subscribe to my channel, like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.